When lack of respect, selfishness and arrogant behavior rule our society, we have to relearn to embrace one simple concept. In our modern times of convenience and lack of real worries, our selfish desires transformed us into uncivilized, unkind men without any grace in our behavior, without any consideration for the man next to us, without any concerns about the consequences of our words and actions. Graciousness and respect, qualities once esteemed, traits once held in high regard, seem to be for many available only on paper and in social media quotes, but lacking in any of their real-life interactions. If you wish to know, friend, why these attributes are essential in a functional society, and if you are curious about how these behavioral qualities can affect the relationships in your life, you might want to stick around and hear what I'm about to say. Many would describe respect as the art of behaving in a kind and gentle manner, and this is not at all inaccurate, but within the context of integrity, there is much more to respect. Respect demonstrates care and concern for all involved, be it in profound or simple ways. The profound aspect of respectful behavior is reflected in the actions that you take as a man in nurturing your relationships with the woman that you love, in your family, in your community, or at work. Respect is to be found in the gracious art of allowing others to feel valued. In business, an example of respect might be the simple action of being punctual so that you can display your sensitivity and consideration for everyone else's time and availability. On the personal side, respect can be shown in a powerful way when you are helping your children understand immediately that they are much more valuable than the carpet they have just stained or the plate they have just broken. In other words, both on a personal as well as on a professional level, friendships, relationships, communities and organizations built upon integrity-centered values understand and adopt willingly behaviors and policies that ensure that minor issues never become obstacles, interfering with the relationships upon which their existence depend. Respectful behavior is needed everywhere and at all times, friend, and even more so in moments when you are confronted with uncomfortable and unpleasant circumstances. Remember that minor as well as major situations always require a firm but gracious response. Let us not fool ourselves and become so naive as to assume that people mean well every time, even when we cannot be certain, or worse, when all of their actions suggest otherwise. But keep in mind that respectful behavior from your side in a hard situation is a representation of you in a public space. A man who has a reputation to consider, a man who represents a friendship, his family or his organization, a man that can lose his hard-won reputation for graciousness and professionalism with one single outburst, particularly as there is no way you could know who is witnessing the situation. Gracious behavior is always accompanied by a gracious attitude, and when you choose to engage in respectful behavior, you not only display your consideration for the ones in front of you, but you also show respect for yourself and for what you represent. If we go one step beyond the impact of respect in one's personal space, friend, and we have an honest look at our leaders, we can observe how the lack of respect that permeates our political theater, for example, has a great impact in our ability to restore trust in our public institutions. Our elected officials represent all members of society. Everyone is a stakeholder. Society needs integrity-centered leaders who focus on the greater good and not on personal power and prestige. And yet, if we pay attention to the political debates, especially around the elections, we can observe how it has become a practice to attack the reputation of opponents, in preference to talking about identifiable stands on the issues we are facing. Let us dare to make a change and applaud the men elected in the public office who hold gracefully high standards of conduct and who do not stop at personal attacks in order to keep their jobs. Let us all, you and me, choose to reward dignity with respect and social service, with loyalty and honor, so that we can attract in positions of influence men of higher caliber, so that one day it will not be needed anymore to cast out our votes for the leaders with a lesser smelling stench. If there is one lesson to be taken from this small talk, friend, let it be this. Gracious behavior, treating others with thoughtfulness and respect, must become the norm in all interactions and at all levels of our society if we want to restore trust in the leaders of our families, communities, and organizations. The level and quality of care and concern for others is a demonstration of respect for ourselves as well, and a confirmation of integrity-centered relationships. How can trust exist if we do not show concern for others? How can our society be expected to become more considerate when those to whom we turn for leadership and guidance do not exhibit gracious and respectful behavior? Respect and reciprocity are the bread and butter for our relationships and include all those little nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love, of care and understanding for one another. Will you be the man that takes pride in representing his family and his name in the world? The man who acts with grace and poise in all his interactions? The man who refuses to let the actions of others decrease his good manners? Or will you give in to the careless and self-centered way of acting that is spreading in our society? Your choice will impact everyone around you.